Thokozani. Mndau. Gogo, her name is Gogo Sihlahla, but she's also going to introduce herself.
Thokozani.
Please introduce yourself and introduce how we are related to each other.
Okay. Thokozani, mina nguZanemvula/Sihlahla Sameva. Ngizalwa uGonondo kaKhumalo, ozalwa uZulu kaNdaba, ozalwa uNyoni kaMngoma iZulu kaSuthu, ozalwa uGazini Mthetho kaNyambozi.
What we ordinarily look at when we started last week on this lesson on Amadlozi is what the Dloti is. We look at how it works. We look at what it actually does. We look at why it comes back and manifests through people in this realm, and basically we try to answer all of those questions, the W questions, and then the how. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going to open up to you to start teaching. So you can start with what it is. We can start with what, and then we'll get to the whys and the hows and the other W's.
Okay. Thokozani Makhetla. Yazi idlozi lomndau. It's a very sensitive dlozi, if one may put it like that. Idlozi elhamba ehlala emantini, if I can put it like that.
English, please, Baba. Don't fall for my language, because I just automatically go into it. Please, let's try to do it in English.
Okay. All right. The Mndau dlozi is the one that you find most of the time. It's a dlozi that goes with the river, and it goes with white and shiny stuff. So what happens is, how someone knows they've got idlozi lomndau? It's a person doesn't normally say, "I've got idlozi lomndau." But idlozi lomndau, it's got symbols that goes emzimbeni wakho, in your body, that tells you what you've got that idlozi lomndau. To the females, most of the time, the Mndau dlozi stays in the womb, and it affects the middle part of the body, in which is your waist. So idlozi lomndau, it's how can I put it in Isilungu? It can dig up a lot of things that are hidden, that you cannot see with your naked eyes, that you cannot see through the bones, for those who use bones, that you cannot see through ikhandlela. But it can sniff and take out, most of the time, ugly things that are being put in a person. Like, for example, let's take someone always says, there is this shadow that I see, but I cannot see. I'm the only one that can see. So those lomndau can actually sukbiza ukufemba. Malifemba, meaning taking out those ancestors that not a normal person can do it. It takes special people, by the way, to have it. It's for specific people to have it as lomndau. And abantu bakhona, they always from emanzini. So what Amadlozi does is, if a person, like for instance, you come to my house and then ugula, being sick, and then maybe your ancestors want to talk to me via you. So what happens is, ngizokufemba, meaning I'll take out, there is what we have here, it's called ishizingo. So I can say my little in it.
I can see it, Baba.
We've got iromboro. So what it does is, yes, and nezengere. So what umuntu womndau has is I've got it on the other side in Dumbeni when I moved to the house. So it's got medicine yomndau. So that medicine, it helps protect me because abanye baneipogi, meaning they've got ghosts, the ghosts that are evil. You find, so as they were busy killing people, those things, they affect you because of unalelo dloti. So it protects me, remember, right? Ukuthi whatever that I'm going to find from you, zingangeni kimi. It's a very tedious exercise and very, very, very it's deadly, if I may put it like that. Ungafa nokufa. If ufemba umuntu oneyipori ezibulalayo, that kill people.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. First off, you've spoken about is that it affects mainly it will be found in the womb, and so it affects our reproduction as women.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So basically, it's also because also of the nature of the Lodi, it is also feminine in nature, right?
Yes.
It's feminine, Mndau. So
yes.
It mainly works with the reproduction area. But what is the situation with the males? Does it also affect their reproduction?
Yes, it does. It affects wonke umuntu onamadloti, ne? Mangikhuluma ngade waist, when I'm talking about the waist, it's not only affecting only the females. It also affects the males. You find sometimes a person cannot produce kids. And when you ask why a person doesn't produce kids, and they tell you, no, it's because of you've got this Mndau that needs you to go to the river and have certain rituals done to you. It's just that I cannot talk about those rituals because it's a secret thing that we do. So how it does is, as you affect the reproductive side, meaning you cannot find abantwana, is because of ifika ihlalela phaya, it sits on your womb as a woman, and then until it gets your attention. And for you to give it its attention, it's the certain ritual that needs to be done or performed on you.
We have we've spoken very much about from lesson 1, from module 1. We spoke greatly about famba, and
yes,
we taught that before it is always advisable to go famba before you actually embark on the Twasa process, because because of what Gufemba is. I'm going to ask you to explain what Gufemba is before we can actually even get into what we actually have been taught. Just not necessarily the process, but what it entails, what it is, and what it does.
Okay. Gufemba Gogo, before it was that journey, before you go through the journey, Gufemba helps us to understand the dlozi that you have, and to understand what happened to this dlozi, this person, before they became a dlozi. What really happened to the person, and it helps to communicate the information to you as the person that I'm femba, to say what had happened, number 1, to the person, 2, who is this person and what is it that they want. Sometimes we can find with you as a female or as a person, people are jealous. They can like instill bad spirits on you. So before you can twasa, we need to find out those things so that we can cleanse it. It can help us to with your cleansing process. You understand?
So not only when we femba, not only do we find what we call ihamba, which would be the reason why you actually have to twasa from and what's your Lineage lakho lasekhaya is. It also, from the process of Gufemba, we get, not only do we get information on who the Loti is and what actually happened to that Loti, we also get information on the things, on spirits or evil spirits or things that have actually attached themselves to your life. And in that process, we get that information. And in that process, Yogufemba, not only do we get that information, we can actually then, those spirits can then be exorcised of you. So Akishwe, which is what they do is fire. It's that process.
Yes, that is the process
of prayer, which is what exorcism. So this is what exorcism is, because then those spirits that cannot get out in the church, when it comes to Mfembo, those spirits are the things that get swept out. So not only do they get swept out, that is where you're going to find out what has been done to you. Or some things are not having been done to you as a person. Some things are coming down
from way back.
In your life. So it's not things that were necessarily done to you, but spirits have attached themselves to a lot of us.
You.
Say to all of us. And in this process, Yogufemba, like we have been taught, that is where now those spirits are exorcised, and that is where you come out clean and ready to embark on the new journey.
Yes. And one thing that you must always know, which is Mndau, Alvanin, like, I must remember that I must always use English. Okay, Mndau doesn't stay in a dirty place. That's why it will always sniff out if there is anything that is very bad, if a bad spirit, because other people, they use your shadow, or they've used your ancestors' shadow to do bad things. So Mndau always wants to be clean. Hence, Mndau is associated with the white cloth, Nenjiti, the one that you have on your head, and associated naman, flowing water. Because it's a symbol that it symbolizes what clean. It always wants to be clean, and it always wants to flow. So if umuntu Mndau, that is powerful, wonke are powerful, but always wants to exercise. And Mndau, it's not idlozi eli loud. Mndau, it's very calm and secret, and it does its own thing and underground. Hence, Maufemba, you need to always be on your knees. And Maufemba, you use ishizingo to find out what is it ekhona emzimbeni. Hence, when you femba umuntu, umfemba ahleli phansi. You cannot femba umuntu ahleli esitulweni. Why? Because you need to always connect with Amadlozi wakho. Then fembe from head to toe. So that you can find out what is it that is happening. It can happen with whatever le bayifakile kuye leso spoki leso singene enyaweni. So you need to be able to pick that thing up. Sometimes you can find ukuthi bafake esinyeni on the waist. You need to also pick it up. Sometimes you find abantu, but this person is crazy, and you don't understand how crazy is that person, what happened. But through Mndau, you can actually connect with the person's ancestor and find out exactly what had happened. And Mndau, it likes to show off, but in a decent way. Liyaphuma and tell you exactly what had happened.
So, guys, I'm going to speak about my experience of Mfembo. Okay, let's speak about that. I'm just going to share because I thought that was actually the most it was the most amazing thing in the Fembo situation. What actually happens is this person that is doing the healer that is fembing first off, they will sniff you, right? You said you did mention that as loud. It's not a loud Loti. It's very calm, but
Oh.
it's very troubled in the manner that it actually manifests. I think that's the being troubled maybe have to do with the fact that when it comes out to exercise and to get rid of evil spirits. So that is actually what it is. So when in my situation, when I was femboid, the healer takes on, I'm going to explain to you, it takes on the mannerism of the person that, or of the spirit, or of the person that actually put that evil spirit in you, or the spirit, the evil spirit, or that needs to come out. So
yes,
that's my experience. I'm just sharing on my experience. And when that happens, I was able, no, I'm not going to use that person. When that happened, I was able at each instance to see who this person was, even without having known that this person may have done this or done that. But through the mannerisms, through the voice as well of the healer, I was able to make
the actions.
Yes, and the actions. I was able to make out who this person is.
What had happened.
Yes, especially if it's with the people that I actually knew, the people that were actually in my life.
True.
The things that had happened before my birth that actually even came up, that were discussed.
Yes.
So it's an ancient old healing manner or healing mechanism, healing way. It's ancient old, and the way that it's happening, you actually need to be, half the time you don't know. So what I like to share is that, so that when people know, when people go to FEMA, they actually know what to expect. So that, because you can go in there and you can walk out of the experience with nothing, without having understood what was actually going on. So if you actually go in knowing, go to, okay, this is what I'm expecting, you will be able to catch on to, okay, so this is now what this person is doing. They walk in, they actually see you, and after that they're able to, that is why Ukulu is saying it's very, it's tiring, it's exhausting, and that people could actually die, because then that person is not themselves in the time that they are favoring. They take on they take on Mndau. That's the Mndau spirit that is actually favoring you. And when in that space, they also take on the spirit of that they're finding in you, the spirit that needs to be taken out. So that spirit is actually the spirit, the Mndau spirit actually fights with the evil that they find in you, that they have to get rid of it. That is the kind of exorcism that happens here. So it is actually pretty, wow, it's pretty, like she said, that it can actually kill you. I'm going to ask Baba Guti, in as much as we see so many people parula, we're going to speak briefly about what parula is, and that much as so many healers parula, I would like to understand, for you to give us an understanding of why we actually are lacking in healers that actually femba.
Okay, just to go back a bit, what you just said, it was Mndau basically role plays, or plays a role plays what has actually happened for you to understand what is it that has happened. It could have happened last week, it could have happened before birth, as you have correctly stated. So it was Mndau will role play you to tell you what this and this and this had actually happened in your life. That's why you find yourself in this current situation. So it was Mndau. It can, as you say, if it finds something, it actually gets rid of it. Yeah, cleaner to say, I don't want this in this person's life, because of, remember, you are a pure person. So those evil spirits, Masesizaguwe, it was Mndau doesn't want it. So it gets rid. Hence we associate ilapi elimhlophe and amanzi, because it's forever pure and clean.
Please speak on speak about the question that I had asked you. I know you backtracked. Is for you to actually discuss not only Guparula, but why it's difficult to find healers that actually famba. Because I've had nasty experience on Fembo. You go to Femba and it's just really just, and you actually know when you are in that space that no, this is actually not it, because we are gifted. You know that this is really not it. I should have. I've wasted my money here.
Yeah. Okay. First and foremost, Gogo, I would like to say, Wuti, in the first place, when you go to a healer, what is important, lakho needs to connect. So that each of whatever process that needs to take place can take place. Because if when lakho and the healer's dlozi didn't connect, there's no way that the healer can know what is happening. That's the first thing that you need to know. Ne? And then secondly, when you khuluma ngokufemba, most of the healers, they know how to femba. As you have correctly stated, number one is the tedious exercise. Two, if you find the person has got evil spirit, it can even kill the healer. That's why ukufemba is not for everybody. Not everybody can do it, because there's certain food that you must eat, there's certain things that you must not eat. So that whenever you go through a process of femba, you can be able to see these things, you can be able to fight these things. So, but if you eat everything that you are not supposed to eat, when that evil spirit overpowers your spirit, then the chances are you are going to die. That's how bad the situation is.
Baba, you bring up a whole different element into this discussion, that of diet. Obviously, when to work with this particular spirit, there are things that cannot be make up part of your diet. There are things that you have to desist now, that just not a part of your diet, because you are a person that heals in this way. I want to ask though, explain why a lot of people, why a lot of people parula, but do not end up working or using their Mndau spirit to heal.
Okay. Amadlozi, they work in a very different way than the English way, if we may put it like that. It needs to have faith. If you don't have faith in what you're doing, then you might as well stay at home. So it takes a healer to make sure they must mentally, physically and spiritually prepare themselves for this journey. Because of Axi, it's not such a journey that you can just say, I will just do it. No. Hence, because you cannot just decide to eat whatever and then think to Zohamba or your family. No. When you're about to family a person, you need way. Now, remember, your ancestors work in a very special way that before you can even heal a person, they will alert you on a particular day, you need not to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, because of you'll be having a person. You need to stay as pure as possible before you can go and send that.
You did actually say that this lozi requires cleanliness, and when we speak of cleanliness for Mndau, we're not just speaking cleanliness in terms of your surroundings, the things around you. We're actually speaking of spiritual cleanliness as well. Hence the diet situation. Also it's that Loti that will also determine who it is that you can have sexual relations with and who you cannot, and how that in that space that actually operates. It is that Lord, we spoke of that. We mentioned that it governs our reproduction. But if it governs reproduction, it then also makes sense that it governs sexuality. So it's a very, so you also, it will determine on who, yes, what also the success of a famba session will also depend on how you have actually prepared for it and how you actually live your life. I think that you go back, that has actually answered why we find that we have a few or minimum of the people that actually parula, that actually practice and heal in this way, is because people are not ready to live in the way that this Loti demands people to operate in people, because it is so demanding. There's so many things that actually literally just wants to take over your life, and people are not ready. Healers are not ready to hand over. But also we find that it is a very powerful Loti, because that is the one that will get rid of, will find those spirits and tell you exactly what the evil spirit is, and will get rid or exorcise those spirits. We spoke also of the femininity or the female nature of it, and I want you to go back to how the woman actually works, because the mother or the woman is actually the person that makes the things happen. As Katinle said, you have the head, but the things are made to happen by the female, and and this is actually how, without making noise, without rushing, even if they do rush, they actually are the ones that actually control and put the pieces together to get things to happen. And this is the way it works.
You know, it was lo Mndau as initially. You know, as I was saying, Guti, before you can do anything, before you can decide to famba a person, you need to first cleanse yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually. And just imagine if I was drunk and come and famba you, what results am I going to get? You know, and sometimes how things are being portrayed is because of how a person is. So if I'm not clean myself, and I need to role play what had happened in the person's life, do you think I'm going to get the correct thing? No, because angizilelanga lento lena, and angidlelanga ukudla kwakhona. Umndau, it's got its own diet. When you're about to famba a person, you've got your own diet that you need to eat. The diet that is going to help you to open up, to help Amadlozi wakho stay strong. It's like your vitamin C. You know, now that we've got flu, you've got your vitamin C. So Mndau now, you've got their own food that you need to eat that I cannot disclose, manje. It's only for Amadlozi.
Talking muti.
Yeah.
Please explain to me please explain why it is also referred to as the foreign spirit, or as a foreign spirit.
It is. Yes. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. Well, no, I was just going to expand on the question that a lot of reading up, or things that you will hear of, you will read up and you will get information that it is a foreign spirit that was influenced by people that came to trade with our people. They came through the oceans or in their ships.
The water.
Yes, ships to trade with our ancestors in the coastal areas, and they would be selling. There'd be exchange of before we had money, before money was currency.
They bartered.
Yes, they bartered, and sometimes they actually got into sexual relations and had children. But also there were fights, and some people were killed from our people, from their people, and that is what you will find. That's the information that you will find as you read up. So I would like for you to actually explain and expand on that, please.
Okay. As you have correctly stated, Uguti, most of Mndau, you won't find it in a land, in just a pure land. Mndau it's idlozi that is coming from abroad. That battering took place, as you have said it, but that battering took place, according to what I know, Guma Coast, as you have said. So Lapaya, if you go to the river, if we are Durban, say the early hours of around 4-5.
The ocean.
When you are there in the ocean, yes, at Durban, or Mozambique, or you go to Cape Town, you can actually hear the echoes of voices, but it's in a foreign language that not even you and I can understand. But because of we've got faith and we've got Amadlozi, they make us understand what had happened. Hence, Mndau is associated with water. Yeah, I understand. Because that's where the trade actually took place. That's where the relationship or the whole thing started, Emanzini. So that's why everything that has to do with Ledlozileli, it started Emanzini, and everything that has to do with Ledlozi, it's surrounded by Amans.
Okay, there's this question that keeps coming up. It has to do with the paru that you have on your shoulders. Can you please kindly explain to this viewer that she says it's coming up in her dreams, then we can actually then move on, because I'm going to forget this question. She wants to know
Okay.
what this is.
Okay. All right. This is called Ipalo. Ipalo idlozi labogogo. So abogogo bakudala, old grannies, they used to wear this palo when they've got ama ancestors. So I've got this because of my granny. Mary, the Mndau that I have, it's actually a gogo. So that's why I've got this by on my shoulders that goes with Mndau. So the ipalo, it's associated nabo gogo, the female gogo. Yes.
I hope you actually got your response. I think it's holistic practitioner that is actually asking that question. Please, Baba, I'm going to now ask you something to speak about Kuparul.
Yes.
It's also let's actually explain that it's actually good for people to understand that you don't have to. There are people who just because of the lotis who just parula, abadli or just people who have the Mndau spirits and work with the Mndau spirits, and they just go in parula. And explain what parula is as opposed to Gudindwaso, maybe. I don't know how to phrase that.
Okay. Parula gogo, remember when you are in the process of when you're in initiation school, you are actually changing from being the old you into being the new you. So when Mausa boarding school, Lauzo Butwasa corner, there are things that the rules. Yes, a boarding school. If I may put it like that, so that the viewers can understand. You know, Mauso Hamba, boarding school, the things that you are being taught about Amadlozi, so that you can understand idlozi elaguwe. And then when you twasa, and then from there uhanjiswa uyoparula. Remember ukuthi we are talking to ukifilwe, being the me, the old me. So now mawuzofika umtemo is the new dlozi lomndau that manje has been fed. So siyahamba, the rituals that are done as usho ukuparula emanzini, and those rituals are done only emanzini, or if uhlala next to the coast, they're done emfuleni. So siwisa emfuleni, and that different rituals that are being done that I cannot disclose. it's only for Amatwasa to know. So that ritual eyenzwa lapho, it actually strengthens you as the trainee, and it actually grows Mndau wakho that is inside you, because there are things that manje Mndau wakho has been going to be fed after the rituals that are going to be performed, so that mase sowufika uzofemba lo Mndau lona, already it's cleaned, it's cleansed, and it's been fed. So now it's ready for action, ukufemba and taking all the action.
So idlozi selikhulile.
Yes, liyakhula manje. So idlozi now can be independent and say ukuthi I don't need umkhulu Ntemo to be babysitting me. Now I can femba on my own. So remember ukuthi mawulibele ufemba, you can pick up izinto eziningi. Mina, I can pick up ukuthi you've got a headache, when you can pick up ukuthi I've got a chest pain. And then when you role play the dlozi, and then you find out ukuthi this person actually, reason why the person is like this is because of 1, 2, 3 has happened in their lives.
I know we're jumping around, but I'm going to take you back to this one question that I've always had as well. Mndau, the spirit, and how we relate to it as the foreign spirit, and how it came. We discussed the whole ocean situation, but I also want to ask you about how it relates now to the Mndau people. You know that there's a tribe of Mndau people that will be found in some parts of Mozambique. The Malawi border, Mozambique. Zimbabwe, Mozambique, that border. How does the spirit actually relate to the Mndau people?
Remember, as we said, those people, if you look, gunamanzi around Bonane, and because of everybody will look at them as if like the foreign people, and those people Mautuapega. Ilos Lomda will teach you a herb that can actually heal. So those people, because of one another, are so fortunate, banamanzi. So that tribe, ikonuguti ifembe, because of bana those how do you call it? Incense, ezinye, and amayama potions that tinangapa we don't have. So it was the myself figure. Lifigela gupi Mozambique or lifigele lapaya say for example, it's in Mozambique for example. And malfigela lapo, when you look at the island on its own, it's surrounded by what? By plants. Not those plants tina we don't have ngaba. And those people that are being taught lapaya guti this plant are 1, 2, 3, 4. Hence, they can sniff it out. Mndau, it's I wish I can do it practically so that you can understand what I'm talking about. But the reason why all these places that you have mentioned is because of Gunamanzi and all the foreign people that are coming from overseas. Before Gubanama airports, they used to be shipped to different places. Hence, bafike lalapo, and the battering happened. And abanye they came with a medicine that if any medicine engafikanga ngapha, ifikele kuphi, ifikele lapha, because of they were coming with boats. And uthola ukuthi that medicine mayifika lapho, ifike yahlala lapho. So not everyone who's gifted traditionally gets to know about that medicine. Only those people abahlala lapha. For example, it's inyenze kanje. Mopane sausages, amasonja. You find them where? In Botswana, in Limpopo. Why?
It's a vendor. That's where
yes.
I was going to say that vendor.
Actually, what do? People, they look at them as if they're only worms. But those worms actually can help you as a person. Goopy, apple, good, and but they can boost your immune system. Amasonja, they're very, very good and very healthy. But not everyone is exposed to that. So it's the same thing with Amasonja ngeke uwathole kuphi? Uwathole eLesotho.
Okay.
Or eGauteng. They're being shipped this side eGauteng so that we can be exposed to them. So I think people abahlala kuma-coast, they've got specialties that different medicines that we can use, and only those people and that tribe, a specializer, not those plants, can be able to give us that medicine, because of not everyone is exposed to it.
You've given me food for thought. And then also, it really is a lot of gifted people who find that they actually have to go through initiation, find that they actually have this Loti manifesting and wanting to work through them. It's but it's also tricky. It's also tricky in that, this is in my experience now, is that it is prevalent in a whole lot of healers that not only healers that initiate, let me just say in healers, but it also is an art, a healing art form that is disappearing, or in as much as people are actually twassing or parule, it is a healing form that is disappearing. And this is evident not only in how we struggle to find fembists, but it also just, I think it's also the nature of this Loti, because you did say that it works in secrecy, it works silently, and irasi, like the drama that follows.
The Mnguni
is very dramatic, and the songs that are sung out there are the Mnguni songs. Every person that is not even that is not a healer, necessarily a healer, people that are just not healers, the songs that they know of Bangoma are Mnguni songs. I'm not even going to go into Amalopo, and it's just because they are also just calmer spirits and spirits that are not as well known. Mndau falls under a different category, because a lot of people know about Mndau, a lot of people Barbara, but it's as a healing form, it is disappearing because of a number of reasons that we have really already discussed or have gone into. But the songs also are disappearing. The songs are and we need to find a way in which to preserve those songs, because the song is so important in that it actually is the one thing that will
connects.
Yes, and connect us to a specific Loti. And I think this is the one thing that actually really attracted me to you when I first met you, is the fact, your passion around the Mndau songs and how you would shout at us and shout at everybody. The first time I saw you, you were shouting. You were just losing it, because we were all there and we are twice as, and there's all of us, and we don't know a lot of things, and it's against some giddy, and there you are, wanting us to sing these songs correctly. You want us to learn the lyrics, because also it's a language that is foreign. So when we sing, you just kind of go along and not get the lyrics right, you get the tune right, and you just basically just try to make out what it is that is being said. So your passion around it, around making us learn the lyrics, making us learn the tune, making sure that we actually do the Mndau dance correctly, to make sure that we are actually going to be able to connect with the spirit was what attracted me to you. And that is also what made me also want to get this information on the Mndau spirit so that can be preserved and kept for future generations. So talk to me about song and the Mndau songs and how and actually basically where we go to learn the songs, because it's not, it's even with our people that with Bokobela kind of like wing it with the kind of the space that I'm in. We do a lot of, into our souls, we do a lot of mgitis, and when it comes to the Mndau space, I actually then learned to understand why you would just really lose it. And so I've learned to understand that it actually is a disappearing. We're trying to hang on to it, but as a healing form, there's very few healers that actually practice it as a tool that is actually taught when people go to boarding school, like you put it. It also is not really taught correctly, because even the Kobelas are struggling with the lyrics and with the songs and with the rhythm. Please speak to me about that.
Okay. First and foremost, let me put it this way. You know, going through a journey, your twasa, it's not something that you can do it because of you just want to do it and get it over and done with. I think that's the biggest mistake that most of the people do. I'm just doing it because they told me that I must do it. You first need to understand why you're doing it. Don't just do it for the sake of, I said, Mina, to do it, but you need to understand first why are you doing it. So immediately you understand. I believe in the 3 E's. Number one, you need to educate, you need to engineer, and the third one, you need to enforce. So how you get to educate is you need to first understand what is happening to you. Because I remember Abanye Ben was saying, we don't understand, we are shaking. You guys were crying, saying, we don't understand. That's when Idlozi was actually alerting you with, I'm present, I'm here. So fear is something that kills a lot of people because of it's the fear of the unknown. You are scared. Manyubuza, what is it that you're scared of? You cannot even say what is it that you're scared of. Going back to me singing the songs, I was traumatized by Amadlozi, to be quite honest. It was not an easy thing that you can just say, today I'm going to do it. Looking at the line of job that I'm doing, and after getting this job, and then I'm told it's something that I was like, I'm not going to do it. But now, understanding the journey, that's the first thing that a person needs to do. Understanding the journey, then accepting the journey will make you fall in love with the journey, and then you will enjoy the journey. If I make you understand. So singing ingoma or singing a song actually connects you with your inner you and with Amadlozi wako. So when you sing and you sing it right and you get the rhythm right, then everything will flow. So I think that's my strongest passion. It's singing Amadlozi songs, because if a person sings Amadlozi song correctly, then you see people's reactions. And even if a person it's here, the person will shift and be in a trance and starts to connect Namadlozi wabo. But if you are not going to do it correctly, then a person is just going to say, I'm going to twasa, and that's it. And as you have correctly stated, to say Guti, Mndau is fading away, is because of people are concentrating more gumguni. And gumguni, because of the dancing, the chanting. When you chant, you are in another spirit. So with Mndau, it's got its own chanting. And the chanting, you do it with your knees. So no one wants to be on their knees for a very long time because it's tiring. it's a tedious exercise. So I enjoy it because of, I think I connect more with Amadlozi Mndau because of maybe somewhere, somehow along the way, as I was doing my research as well, I actually have ancestors that are actually coming from Mozambique. So that made me understand why do I love ingoma. And ingoma makes me, I don't know, the songs, they make me relate to who I am. It makes me find my identity because you'll be useless without your identity.
Togo's, you know, it goes back to why we Sibangoma. It's because it's how we are actually called, and that is actually how we connect, and that is how people come through.
Yes.
It actually all happens. It all happens through song. When you speak of ancestry, I like also to explain to people that really, at the end of the day, we are made up of so many ancestors. Half the time, it's not just from our parents, Lucy, and our parents' parents, and our parents' parents' parents. But as we go back, and our parents' parents' parents, we go from 16 to 32 to, we are just complex in terms of our lineage. That is why all these spirits will manifest through us. A lot of people can trace their roots back to somewhere coastal in any given point, or no, they may not be able to, but their roots are traceable to all of those spaces. And also, we should also go back to the lessons that we actually have learned to be able to understand how we go forward, because some lessons may not be able to cover why. Right now we're speaking about Mndau. We spoke that and that we spoke of that a lot of the losses as a kai, then there's losses that actually now the spirits that attach themselves, and that's how we find that we speak of Mndau and wow. But what and blah blah, okay. But what I have learned is that actually there normally is a connection. There is a way that you can connect that Loti to the lineage. Mkulu taught also last week, I think, lesson 1, that there's the Loti Lakaya that actually comes now, and we've run out of time. Okay. We're going to do our buys. This is not the only Mndau lesson that we're going to have. We are going to have a Mndau lesson, I think maybe as lesson 7, when we have covered a lot of the other lessons. We have teachers scheduled. So guys, do not panic that we have not finished this topic. There's a whole lot to cover on this topic. I'm going to give over to you, Baba, to Valelisa. And thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And we will definitely be coming to do a Mndau music recording sometime soon.
Okay, Tawazani. Okay, just as I'm validly saying, everybody Amadlozi, guys, but not all the doses are activated in a person. And umuntu needs to understand where they are coming from, and umuntu needs to understand why they've got the doses. Amadlozi, they don't just go to any person, they go to a specific person. Ngokusho kanjalo, ngiyabonga kakhulu for allowing me to have this space with you, and I hope to see you very soon.
Mndau, I do COVID, so that we actually come through and do the music recording. It is something that is actually really required. We need to document all of that music before it disappears on us.
Ayithokoza mkhulu Mndau, ngiyabonga.